Hi, this is Russ Katz from the Audio Hunters and the Vinyl Revivers, and I'm here to talk about record cleaning and my process. It's taken me several years to do. I started actually cleaning records back when I was a kid. I had a subscription to the Columbia House Record Club and the RCA Record Club, and I would use all my hard working from mowing lawns. I got paid $1.50 a lawn. I saved that money up, bought records, and when I'd get them in the mail, I used a dishwasher to clean them, and I just hated the ticks and pops. It always drove me crazy. So 40 years later, I'm still obsessed with clean sounding records. And I started the Vinyl Revivers. I went to a used record show in Arbutus, Maryland, and I saw all these people buying used records and nobody cleaning them. So I decided to start a record cleaning business. I bought a booth or rented a booth at the next show. I brought a Nitty Gritty record clean machine that I had had for about 30 years. And I brought a pair of Stax Landon Pro headphones with a headphone amp and a Bang & Olufsen RX2 turntable, and I let people listen to the records before I cleaned them, after I cleaned them. I charged $5 a record. People loved it. I kept going, and it just kind of took off from there, kind of fine-tuned the process ever since then. So I'm just going to go over the process overall. I basically start as a simple cleaning for about $3. It basically just uses an anti-static gun and a spin clean, and the ultimate cleaning is basically using all of the different machines that I have. So kind of go over the machines that I'm using in the process. The first one is a spin clean, run you a little over $80 for it, and I use that as a good entry-level system to clean the surface dirt off of the records. From there, I then put it into an Ultrasonic V8. This is a ultrasonic machine that actually has the ability to clean up to 8 records at one time. I only use 1 record at a time, though. I just feel like it's a little bit more effective that way. Once it's done in the ultrasonic, from there it goes into the Ultrasonic V8 dryer. It's a manual dryer. You basically have to twist the metal rod, and it helps get the water off of there and dry it. From there it goes into an audio desk, which is probably the best ultrasonic cleaner that's out there. It retails for about $4,500 for it. I typically do, it's anywhere from 1 to 5 cycles. If it's a very dirty record, I just typically do it for 5 cycles. It automatically dries the record. When it's done in there, I then move it to a Nitty Gritty 2.5 XP. This one actually has 2 different cleaning solutions. The first one is an enzyme solution. The next one is a cleaning solution. Basically use the pump to send the fluid up through the velvet lips. You put the record on, has automatic rotation, and then you would press the button and it would automatically dry. I use both of those fluids. From there, it then goes to a earlier project record cleaning machine. They have a Clean It solution. It's an enzyme solution. You pop the record on, you apply the fluid, let it sit there for a couple minutes, then you vacuum it off. From there, it then goes to a soda record cleaning machine. And on this particular one, I use several different fluids. I use something called Turgitol, which is something that the Library of Congress uses as part of their cleaning process. I then use Premier 6 from Audio Intelligence Solutions. I also use crystal fluid from Soda, which is in a little tub here. Push that down, kind of put it on the record, and then I use a MoFi record rinse to clean up any residual fluid that might be on there. From there, I then put it back into the audio desk and let it do 1 more cycle. I use the anti-static gun and then put it into an anti-static sleeve. So that's the whole ultimate process. And I've had many customers ship me products from all over the country. I've never had anybody dissatisfied, with the work that I've done, and I'm here to help. I love, turning records that people are going to get rid of and then, sending them back, and people are ecstatic about how good things sound. Before we get started, my spin clean needs some fresh water, so we're going to go ahead and film emptying the spin clean and allow you to see the dirt that spin clean has gotten off the records. So here we are. We have the spin clean, and I'm going to take out all the supplies, and then I'll show you how dirty the water is. This is from cleaning probably about 20 records, and you can go ahead and see. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and dump this water out, and you can see all of the crud that's coming out of there. And then again, you can see on the inside just, all of the dirt that's still left in there. So I'm going to go ahead now and clean this. And again, you can kind of see all of the dirt that's in there. Let's clean it a little bit more. Okay, now we're going to clean the pads off. Pat them dry a little bit. Okay, then we're going to stick them back inside the spin clean. There's a fill line inside the spin clean, so it uses distilled water. And the reason why I use the spin clean first is because it uses the least amount of distilled water. Both the Ultrasonic V8 and the Audio Desk use over a gallon of distilled water. So I'd rather this get dirty first, get rid of all the surface dirt, and then let the Ultrasonic machines get more of the deep-seated dirt in there. So, okay, that looks about right. And then we have the master tub. It also comes in a little smaller tub. Just use 1 cap full of cleaning solution, and we pour that right over the pads, and now we are ready to clean. So let's go ahead and bring this back upstairs, and we'll go ahead and get a record to clean. Okay, so in honor of Eddie Van Halen and him passing recently, we're gonna go ahead and clean this Van Halen album. So again, gonna take it out, and as you can tell, most records still are coming in paper sleeves. So I would clean even brand new albums. I would clean them when you first get them, and I would replace the paper sleeves with good anti-static sleeves. I use Nitty Gritty anti-static sleeves. You can also use anti-static sleeves from Mobile Fidelity as well. I have them both available for sale through the company. Okay, and you can take a look at this record. It doesn't look horrible. Don't see really much paper dust on there, but I'm going to go ahead. First step is using a Furatech D-Stat gun, and this basically neutralizes the surface of the record, so it allows the cleaning machines to have an easier time of dislodging whatever kind of particles are stuck on the record surface. And then we'll do the other side as well. Okay, and next step is to go ahead and clean it in the spin clean. And we'll go ahead and rotate it 3 times one way and then 3 times in the other direction. We'll go ahead and lower it in there, and we'll rotate it 3 times this direction. Okay, and now we'll do it 3 times in the other direction. Okay, and now we'll go ahead and take a anti-static rag that comes with the spin clean. We'll pull it out, let some of the water, excess water drip off of there, and we'll go ahead and dry the record off. And then I take the album and I take the towel and just clean again on the outside. Flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so that's it for the spin clean. And then the next step is to get it into the Ultrasonic V8. So for those people that are not aware, Ultrasonic is basically a process similar to what people would use when they go to a jewelry store to get their diamonds cleaned. It creates ultrasonic waves inside the tank, and basically the water molecules explode, and it's able to get kind of behind the diamonds and clean up a lot of that dirt. So I basically have to now go put this on a metal rod, and it has a couple of wooden pucks, I guess, that kind of cover the label. So that'll be the next step that we do. So I now have the record on the rod, and we're going to go ahead and put this into the Ultrasonic tank. And again, this is over a gallon's worth of distilled water, and I'm going to go ahead and let this clean for 15 minutes. So the Ultrasonic V8 is now finished its cleaning. We're now going to take it out of the cleaner and we're now going to put it into the drying bin. So go ahead and put the lid back on. And this is the biggest drag to this machine, is just you have to manually spin the wheel, and it kind of flicks the water off, and let that do its thing, and eventually it'll be dry. Okay, so the dryer is now completed doing its drying, and we're now going to go ahead and pull this record out, and we'll take these pieces off, and we're now going to go ahead and pop this into the audio desk and give it another ultrasonic cleaning. And I typically clean anywhere from 1 cycle to 5 cycles, depending on how dirty the record is. I'm going to go ahead and do it for 5. So we're going to go ahead and pop this in. And the nice thing about the audio desk is that it's fully automatic. So you basically pop the record in, you go ahead and hit that white button for how many cycles you want, and then it'll start rotating. So we'll do it for 5. And then we just need to give it a little help to get started. And it's basically creating, again, ultrasonic waves inside the tank. It has rollers on 2 sides of the record, so the rollers will rotate as well. And you can actually take a look at the bubbles inside the tank to actually see the ultrasonic waves. So all of the bubbles inside the tank, that's that ultrasonic process taking place. When it's done, the fluid inside the tank will drop down back into the bottom of the tank. The rollers will pull away, and then the fan will turn on and it'll automatically dry the record inside the tank. So we're now done with the audio desk, and we pull the record out. I don't know if you can see if it looks any cleaner than it did when we first put it in there, but one thing I did want to talk about in respect to the audio desk, and how I kind of came about this whole process. Let me just put this record on the Nitty Gritty right now, and we'll go ahead and talk about the audio desk a little bit more. But when I first started, again, I only had a Nitty Gritty, and then I just kind of went from there trying to figure things out. So I've already cleaned it twice already, but if you look at this, you can see dirt still. So again, every single process is a little different. I'm really trying to get the grooves as clean as they can possibly be. So again, this is a Nitty Gritty 2.5 XP. It basically has the 2 different tanks. Again, enzyme solution in one, and then we have cleaning solution in the other. And you basically, use the pump, and it pumps up, and you can basically kind of make sure that this is nice and wet, fully covered. And then we go ahead and pop the record on, and we hit start. And so basically the fluid is now having an opportunity to kind of get into the grooves and break up any kind of enzymes or gunk that's been left over after the first couple of processes that have occurred. And when it comes to these cleaning machines, the biggest thing, the brushes, is part of it, but it's really the cleaning solutions that probably make the biggest difference in cleaning. And each one of them probably has their own formulation of how they're kind of put together. And I typically allow the fluid to kind of have a chance to attack whatever's on there. So we'll go ahead and let it rotate for a few times. It's now rotated a few times. Now we'll go ahead and turn the vacuum on. And sometimes you need to, if the record's not totally cut perfectly, you need to help it out a little bit to rotate it. Okay. So now it's all dry. And again, we would repeat the process on the other side, but just for time's sake, I'm going to go ahead and move now over to the next machine. We're going to go ahead and put it on the project. And we go ahead. What I like about the project is that the record is totally isolated in air. It's not, the clean side is up, the dirty side is down, but it's not sitting on anything. So with the project, I use their wash it solution, and so I basically pour the fluid into the cap, and then I take the fluid and kind of just put it around the record, and then I take a Nitty Gritty cleaning brush, and I go ahead and I coat the fluid on here evenly and kind of spread it throughout the entire record. And then we're going to go ahead and let it sit for a couple minutes and let the enzyme solution again break down whatever materials are still stuck in those grooves. All right, so the fluid has now been on the record for a couple minutes. Now we're going to go ahead and dry the fluid off of there. So we basically rotate over the arm, and then we turn on the, let me just move this over a little bit here. Okay, so we turn it on, and we turn the vacuum on, and we normally let it go a few times in one direction, and then we stop it and reverse it and do it in the other direction. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and put this on the soda, and the soda is very similar to VPI machines, which are very popular as well. So the now my soda, actually I've kind of disconnected the belt for it to do it on its own. I do it manually because I feel like I have the ability to control it a little bit more. So the first solution I'm going to put on here is the Turgitol, which again, Library of Congress uses this. I'm going to go ahead and kind of coat the record, and then I'm going to go ahead and take another Nitty Gritty brush, and we're going to go ahead and really rub this into the grooves. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and let this sit for a few minutes as well. Okay, so the fluid has now been on there for a few minutes. Now we're going to go ahead and vacuum it off. Okay, so we're now done with the Turgitol. The next solution that we're going to use is the Audio Intelligent Vinyl Solutions Premium One Step number 6. And I'll go ahead and squirt some of this on the record, kind of across groove. Maybe put a couple more spots on the record. And then I use the, this is actually the brush that comes with the soda, but I use it for the Premium 6 solution. Now go ahead and coat the record, try to get it spread as evenly as I can. And we use the brush to maybe agitate whatever's still in the grooves that hasn't gotten broken off yet. Okay, and we'll go ahead and let that sit. Been on there for a few minutes. Now we're going to go ahead and dry this off. Okay, so now we're done with the Audio Intelligent Solutions. Depending on the record itself, sometimes I'll use the crystal fluid. So we'll go ahead and use the crystal fluid on here as well. So we'll go ahead and move it over, hit the pump, and then we'll move it over, hit the pump. And then I have this brush. Now we go ahead and rotate across and let it cover the entire record. And again, we'll let this sit for a couple of minutes. Okay, so now that the crystal fluid has been dried, we're going to go ahead and use the MoFi record rinse, and this will be the last cleaning process, cleaning step in the process. We'll go ahead and put a few drops on there, and then we take another Nitty Gritty brush, and we'll go ahead and rub this solution in. We don't allow this to sit. We basically just do it and then vacuum it up. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and put this back into the audio desk and actually do one more cycle of cleaning. Okay, so we're now taking it out of the audio desk. I'm going to go ahead and use the anti-static gun one more time. Again, it really shouldn't have a static charge because of the air drying, but we'll go ahead and use this anti-static gun one more time. And we'll go ahead and again flip it over to the other side. Okay, and now we pull out a brand new Nitty Gritty anti-static sleeve. Okay, so we're all done, and we'll move on to the next one. And again, thanks for watching. This is Russ Katz. You can reach me at www.thevinylrevivers.com. You can also call me 301-848-4100. I'm here to help. Hopefully I can make your record sound great again. Thanks.